All that you touch and all that you see, all that you taste, all you feel, all that you love and all that you hate, all you distrust, all you save, all that you give and all that you deal, all that you buy, beg, borrow, or steal, all you create and all you destroy, all that you do and all you say, all that you eat, everyone you meet, all that you slight, everyone you fight, all that is now and all that is gone and all that's to come, and everything under the sun is in tune, but the sun is eclipsed by the moon. There you go, VooTubers. I thought I'd give you a little bit of Pink Floyd. So we've entered Saturday with another hoo-ha, haven't we? Much ado about nothing, as I think old Shakespeare would say, or whatever his name was. You know the one I mean, don't you? Anyway, so here we have Roger Waters. I don't know when it was that he actually ended up looking like Roger Daltrey, but there you go. Hey ho, say nothing for 2 verse. But here he is. He's got himself into what might be called hot water, VooTube. And you know what it's like. One doesn't like getting in hot water. So they've made a big deal about bleeding nothing. Right. Now, before I get pilloried, and as I say, put in the Tower of London, or beaten and have eggs thrown at me in the village stocks, I need to let you know that I am of Jewish heritage. There you go. 2 sides of my family. Grandparents, great-grandparents. Okay? And what a lot of them didn't really help them. But they reverted to Catholicism, didn't they? Yes. Didn't save them, though. So, having said that, I got a dog in the game. And all I can say about this is that if you followed Pink Floyd, I think this could be a whole nother upload that I'll do when we just talk about that. The growing up, when the generation above us had been through the war, or their parents had been through the war, and they were the children that were born in the war, or as a consequence of the war, or just after the war. So they were what was called boomers. And if you were born in the 60s as a child of these here boomers, I don't know what we were called, but anyway, apparently we were privileged. Yes, we were. Yes, all that time in the 70s when we were eating green bread with blue bits and sometimes black bits in it and told it's very good for you, so it will stop you being ill. So just shut up and eat it, otherwise you're going to clip round the bleeding ear. Yes, oh, privilege, it was wonderful. Playing on all the bomb sites, I don't think they'd invented Alton Towers, Chessington, place like that. You know what I mean? So the bomb sites it was then, and most of us used to play war because that's all we knew, and that's all we bleeding heard about. And this lad here, Roger Waters, he never knew his dad because his dad died in Gallipoli, was it? Somewhere. I know it was in one of the big Ardennes, or something like that. Battle of the Bulge, whatever. And I think he was he a lieutenant or something? But he never knew his dad. And the back of most of his lyrics and writings and protestations and forthcomings was built on that. You are the sum of your total experience, aren't you? And his experience was, if you look at the Wall album, that's what that was about. It was about not having a dad after the war and, not fitting in or feeling like he didn't fitting in. And then being hurled through the 50s, childhood, straight into the 60s, and becoming like a progressive. I think they started off psychedelic, didn't they? Fashionably psychedelic they were, VooTubers. I've got a bike, you can ride it if you like. You know what I mean? That stuff. And then they went into Ummagumma, didn't they? So first album, Pipe at the Gates of Dawn, then Ummagumma. And then they sort of spun off into progressive rock. And again, I think he had a lot of chutzpah, really, doing what he did, to be honest, dressing up like that. I mean, in Berlin, no less, VooTubers. I mean, it wasn't in Krakow in Poland where Auschwitz was it? No, it was in bleeding Berlin. I think it's funny. But it's performance art. His whole show is performance art. I mean, gone are the days they went with him and groups like him, that actually put more into it than, I think it was Woko Ono, that said, no, the real one, Yoko Ono, that said, rhyming moon me spoon, don't take no talent or whatever, which is love, love me do, I love you, and all that. It's bland, it's boring, it's meaningless. But it was popular. So, you could dance to it, get pissed, get laid, whatever in the 60s. And it was exciting because most of them had just been through the war and also being brought up by people. This isn't spoken about enough. Being brought up by people that had gone through the war and were affected by the war. I mean, I knew people that, had lived through the war and were shot, their minds were gone. And that generation in particular either fought through the war or went through the war as a civilian or in some way, had actually been brought up by people that had been through the First World War. So we were buggered. We had no chance whatsoever for us, and neither did they. So, and this isn't actually explored enough in society. Our generation is always really put down as our parents' generation and their generation before. And it was in the British media that the BBC said the other day that it was 70 or 80 years since the infamous Dam Busters raid. Infamous means, the opposite of famous, doesn't it? And it wasn't infamous, it was famous, because what they did was generally heroic and brave, and many of them didn't come back. And they blew up the dam and managed to do something or other. So this man here, as I was rambling on, is really greatly influenced. A lot of his writings and music is greatly influenced by his experience of living on this mortal coil, which was living as a consequence. All of us, many of us, I mean, were, as I know I am, as a consequence of the Second World War. I wouldn't be here if the Second World War hadn't existed. And neither would my mother. Let's just put it there for us. But also, we need to remember that so many people, so many people would have also been here that never got to be here because the people they would have been born to got killed during the war. Let's just say it like that. And I think the broader point he's making, it's just performance art, isn't it, really? And I think that his lyrics are like poetry. There's so many good lyricists out there. There's a young lad in America called Tom McDonald. He's on YouTube. If you ever see him, listen to his lyrics. I mean, they're just poetry, dressed up to music. What he desecrating the memory of Anne Frank. He's not desecrating the memory of anybody. His interest lies in the unequal rights of the people that live in the Gaza and the restricted areas around and about the place in New Israel. Israel, the two of us. And I'm not going to get into politics because I'll end up in trouble, won't I, first? But it is what it is. And you've got to remember, some people's freedom fighter or other people's terrorists. And he likes to think of himself as a humanitarian. But he really walks it and talks it. And he's shot himself, so to speak, metaphorically, in his foot, Vutu over this one. But I just think he's funny. I think good for him. It's hilarious. He dressed up as a bleeding whatever it is. He's done up as got stormtrooper or something, is it? Black shirt? I don't know. And in Berlin, of all places. And he's aping that sort of thing. His interest, as I said, when he sings The Wall, I have seen the writing on the wall. He's talking about the wall that separates Gaza from the rest of polite society, as they like to think of it, and obviously the graffiti and the writing on the wall. I think it was a few years ago, the Israeli government or the Israeli pop industry or whoever it was, Knesset, I don't know, I don't care, invited him to go and play in Israel, which he was willing to do. But he said, as long as I can, stand on the wall and sing my song, The Wall. And obviously in his day, when he was growing up, the big thing was the Berlin Wall. So you can see how he's interested. I mean, they managed to get the Berlin Wall down, didn't they? Which I was told as a child would never come down. And some sort of massive nation, probably globalists, they knew the tide was turning that way and got rid of the wall. And I think he was hoping to do the same in Tel Aviv, in Jerusalem, whatever, wherever it is, Jerusalem in Israel. And we're not allowed to talk about it. Anybody that suffers from anything, you've got one God-given right. It doesn't matter who you are, what ethnicity, what religion you are. And as I said, one person's freedom fighter is another person's terrorist. And he definitely backs the people in the Gaza, and that is entirely his right to do so. And he's using what platform he has got, which is pretty massive, to speak out against what he sees as an injustice. Now, unlike him, I am standing firmly on the wall, not coming down on either side here, Vutu viewers. I do have an opinion, but I'm not gay. I'm not dumb, am I? I'm not going to say anything. Blimey. I've lost enough bleeding subs as it is, Vutu. So anyway, yeah, I just think it's performance art and it's much ado about nothing. And taken as a whole, actually, probably giving him some damn good publicity. Now, that being said, VooTubers, for our delectation, you can watch this concert for free on your VooTube. And it's blooming brilliant. For this research, VooTube, I had to watch it twice. That's all I'm saying. So should we just have a couple of minutes of this? A couple of seconds. There you go. Yes, performance art. There you go. And of course, social media. When they say social media, what they need is twatter, don't they? That's what they need. Twatter went mental because this old man, I think, what is he? My old girl would be 77. I think he was born in 43 or 42. Might even be 80 if you two viewers. One doesn't know. You know what I'm like numerically. I mean, I think he's doing good for his age. I mean, I would. Do you know what I mean? Well, I wouldn't, but he's all right. He's in good nick, and he's getting up there. And while he's on this planet, he's making his voice heard and trying to do it in a productive way and trying to say something through his art, which isn't just. I mean, the lighting of Pink Floyd, the lighting alone, they should win bleeding awards for. I mean, what awards have these people ever won? But hey ho, Woko's got a bag load. So anyway, I'll leave it there, VooTubers. Go and watch Pink Floyd on your VooTube, VooTubers. That's what you need to do. Bye bye now.